Hello everybody. In today's video we are going to answer a question related to the Prophet Idris and the great sage, wise man of antiquity known as Hermes Trismegistus, or 3 times great. Hermes in the mystical tradition has been identified with in different mythology with the Egyptian god of writing known as Thoth and the Greek god Hermes. But in reality, in my opinion as a historian, I disagree with that understanding, because I don't think that if this was a man who existed in antiquity, he was associated. He was later associated, like in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd centuries, with these gods by the Christians. But in reality, I don't think that this man had nothing to do with that. But these are just archetypes to signify that this man was a messenger from God that spread a message that God sent to reveal to humans. And that's in fact the opinion of Islam. We have in Islam a tradition that says that Hermes Trismegistus, as they call him, or 3 times the great, in Islam the tradition says that he is the Prophet Idris. The Prophet Idris that has been known as also as the Prophet Enoc is the same. Therefore, according to the opinion of Islamic scholars and many great philosophers and sages from the past, such as Jabir ibn Hayyan, who lived in the 9th century during the time of the Abbasid Caliphate in Baghdad, his opinion was that he was the Prophet Idris, that in fact is mentioned in the Quran. Hermes Trismegistus is mentioned in the Quran, Surah number 19, verse 56 and 57, in which God says that he was one of the prophets and they raised him up. They took him up to heaven. Also, it's mentioned in the Quran in Surah number 21. He's also mentioned together with the Prophet Ismail as one of the just messengers from God. Therefore, in the Islamic tradition, it is said that he was also the one who constructed the pyramids in Egypt, the famous Giza pyramids, and also is associated with the one who revealed a lot of knowledge. Some say that when he was up to heaven, he came down with certain things from paradise and he revealed some knowledge to humanity, and he descended in what is today India, in the opinion of some. And he gave some knowledge, some kind of message from God to humanity. This is the opinion of some scholars in Islam. In fact, it is said that the Prophet Muhammad is a direct descendant of the Prophet Idris. Therefore, he is also, if Idris is Hermes Trismegistus, then the Prophet is associated as a descendant of this man, who in the Western world, in the world of the Greeks, they call him Hermes, but in Islam we call him Idris, the Prophet Idris. The same with the Jews and the Christians. Idris is the Prophet Enoch. Now, like I said, with time, like has always happened with all the prophets that came from a long time ago, they came with a message, and with time their disciples and other people, they twisted the message, and this teaching from God then was corrupted, and foreign ideas got mixed with this knowledge. And with time, sadly, the reputation of this kind of knowledge was taken by magicians and occultists and people who do bad things, and this kind of knowledge was corrupted and was taken and used by these people to do bad things. But the essence of this knowledge is accepted in Islam in the Islamic tradition as important. In fact, during the time of the Abbasid Caliphate, the texts of Hermes Trismegistus were taken from Greek and translated into Arabic, and they are the most well-preserved texts that we have today in the world are in Arabic, thanks to the translation of Jabir ibn Hayyan, according to the decree of the Sultan, the Caliph, Harun al-Rashid. Therefore, even at this time, these texts were considered as sacred, because we're talking about a knowledge from this prophet. And today we have some books that they are attributed to this prophet, the prophet Idris or Hermes, and as a continuation of these books that were revealed from God. It's one of the pillars of faith in Islam to believe in the books, plural, that God revealed through time. But as I said, with time this kind of knowledge has been corrupted, and sadly some has fallen in the wrong hands. But the identification of Hermes Trismegistus with the prophet Idris, as is mentioned in the Quran and the Islamic tradition, is clear from this perspective. From history, like I said, it's all a mystery. Some people say, like I said, that they identify with a mixture of Hermes Trismegistus. They call him, oh, this is just an invention, it's just a mixture of the Egyptian god Thoth and the Greek god Hermes. But like I said, this is just a mystery from this side. I don't think in reality that that's what it means. Whoever reads this kind of mystical text in any tradition and thinks that what he reads is what he says, doesn't know anything, because what the book says is not what it means. Therefore, I think from a historical point of view that when they identify this, it was later a corruption of this understanding. And also, I don't think really that means nothing at all connected with these Egyptians or these Greeks, but simply these are names or archetypes that perhaps makes reference to something that is in some sense divine, and a message that has been spread, as the prophet Idris brought a message that came from God. But in time in Egypt, perhaps it got corrupted by people. And like I said, they said that he ascended in Islam. They said that he ascended to heaven from Egypt. He was the constructor of these pyramids and the one who revealed a lot of knowledge, like the knowledge that has been lost, like the one who was lost in the library of Alexandria, as was burned by the Emperor Julius Caesar. And also so many knowledge that has been lost in humanity or throughout time, like the knowledge from the mythical Atlantis, as is mentioned by Plato in one of his works. But like I said, the works of Hermes Trismegistus has been preserved in Arabic, and is known as Corpus Hermeticum. But he is identified in the Islamic tradition, as I said, with the prophet Idris, as is mentioned in the Quran. And therefore, according to the Islamic scholars, Hermes Trismegistus is the same as the prophet Idris, or Enoch as we know it in the Western tradition. Thank you so much for your attention, and God willing, we'll see each other in the next video with more about history, philosophy, religion, and much more. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.